Hello, and welcome to the Otaku Clubhouse. And this is Sink or Swim. What is Sink or Swim? Well, it's where we discuss anime, video games, movies, and just about whatever media catches our eye. Then give our first impressions of them. From top to bottom, we give our ratings of a swim, a tread, a float, a drowning, and at worst, a sink. Comments are always welcome, and of course, we're waiting to hear what you have to say too. Let's get into it. Alright, so we just finished the new anime Back Arrow, the first episode. And I gotta say, 2021 is starting off weird?
That's the understatement of the year.
I mean, it not counting the things outside of the anime. I'm just talking about anime. Anyway, so Back Arrow. What did you two think of this? Let's just get this out of the way. What are your general thoughts on Back Arrow?
It seems like it's kind of safe. It's clear that they're trying to push this. They're pushing it to the moon for whatever reason. It looks just painfully generic. It looks like it's a show that you watch just because it's anime. Just because you want to watch some anime and like this is the first thing that you click on.
My immediate reaction to the show, like we were like 15 minutes in, I'm like, wow, this is like a generic 2000s mecha. But some of those were a lot better than this. Like, what was that one we were watching with the cowboy aesthetic?
Gun X Sword, which I'm pretty sure this is like the same director, isn't it? Or the same writer?
I'm not sure if it's the same director or writer, but I can definitely tell you the animation company for this is one of the animation companies that helped with Karakuri Circus and with Ushio and Tora.
Then why the massive downgrade in quality and art style?
I don't know. Since you brought that up anyway, let's talk about some of these.
These
let's
character
talk about
designs?
some of these designs.
Yeah, well, the main character, whose name is Back Arrow for stupid reasons, he looks fine. He looks kind of like a creative character in like a fucking God Eater game or like Code Vein. He kind of looks like that. He doesn't really stand out. If you put him in a lineup, right? Say an anime main character robbed some old lady and then they took him to a police lineup. Like, she wouldn't really identify him if he was the one.
His design reminds me a bit of Star Driver in the way that they have that. What's the way I'm looking to say this, Hawkeyser?
Cake boys, ultra pretty, kind of sweet looking. Sweet as in, you already know. Got sugar on them.
Yeah, because it's like they've got like the super big hair, they got the kind of muscular but also slim, like I go to the gym and I work out but I don't consume any protein body.
Oh, he looks like a teenage Beyblade character. That's what he looks like. Like,
yes.
You know how the Beybladers are like 12 or whatever? He just looks like he's 19, but like he hit the gym, but he still looks atrocious.
As opposed to that motherfucker Kai from Beyblade, who was jacked at like 12, but off topic.
And the supporting characters are no better. You got Cowboy Girl, which is like off-brand Yoko in, what's the name? Elsha. And then you have Atlee, who is like, I don't know. She kind of looks like, what's that one gym leader?
Erica?
The green hair one.
No, Bugsy.
No. She looks like, I'll put a picture up and then you can put it on the screen. But yeah, these characters kind of look generic and like their only real redeeming features, I guess, is that they're sexy. Which, they're marketing on that.
Maybe sexy? I don't know. The long limb thing, again, instantly makes me think of either Star Driver or Code Geass. Especially Code Geass. One of those things that, like, you go back and you look at and you're like, man, this is a strange choice to make these characters' limbs so long, their bodies so thin.
Well, but unlike Code Geass, I feel like this show doesn't really have anything to really hook you in other than this.
You can't base that on the first episode.
I know, I disagree. I sincerely I think that this show has no future prospects. I think for whatever reason, like somebody's son was working on this or something. They have
That's
mad
unfair.
merchandise out for no reason. This shit looks. It looks like
That's
something
unfair.
that
You need to hold it to the same standard. If you watched the first episode of Code Geass, you wouldn't. There's no way you would know it would turn into what it turned into.
I was hooked on Code Geass from the very beginning.
But there's no way you would have predicted it would have turned into like this fusion of like Death Note and like Ground Gundam and stuff like that.
What are you talking?
I do have one thing to mention about this. It is a 24 episode anime. Yeah. So it's somebody out there really, like you said, Hawkeyes, somebody out there has a lot backing this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We've just been talking about the character designs.
Oh, also the male friend in this, bro. You need to.
Oh, right.
I don't know. You need to fire whoever fucking designed this character, dude.
Whoever gave this man clothes.
Man, dressed like a whore.
Dressed like dude's dressed like, let's just say it, he's dressed like he's a fucking gay cowboy or something. Like,
yeah,
he's got like the belly knot in his shirt and stuff like that, and it's like, dude, are you trying to look as effeminate as the women? Like, holy shit.
I guess that's just part of the plot where these characters live. They're super poor.
They're like cowboys.
They're like fucking
whatever.
destitute.
And then, like, we saw in the beginning of the episode, there's, like, this whole other, like, Romance of the Three Kingdoms Chinese aesthetic. There's one of the characters who just looks like Lu Bu, and I'm sure that will come up. I'm getting tired of I'm getting tired of creators just putting shit they like in together without thinking of how it mixes cowboys versus aliens looking ass.
Let's talk about the plot a little bit. So, this whole thing starts off in what seems to be a post-apocalypse or something. Everybody in this is either the cowboys or what seems to be these... Chinese. I'm assuming that they're meant to be Chinese, yeah. And they're all living very separate. The Chinese people seem to be living in this huge, technologically advanced area, or the cowboy people who seem to be living in this, much like the others said, destitute canyon wasteland area.
And the whole area is surrounded by like some kind of barrier, which, you know, the Hicks worship as, oh no, the earth is flat. If you walk past that barrier, you're gonna fall out.
It is it's pretty simple up front. The main character, who gains his name by the end of the episode, Back Arrow, falls all the way from outside of this barrier and says that he wants to go back to the other side of the barrier.
And everybody thinks he's crazy because if you fall off, you're gonna die, boy.
This continues until the village is inevitably attacked by some random bandit or something. He transforms into his giant mech, and then I'm not sure if she's the main girl, but whatever, Adley, the green-haired girl, who is the sheriff of the town, also uses her special giant robot transformation and transforms into hers.
That was handed down by her father, by the way, so I'm just gonna assume that he also looked like a sexy fucking Metabot or something.
Since you said that, can we talk about the robot designs?
They remind me of... oh, go ahead. Okay, I think you're going to say the same thing.
They look like elemental heroes in a bit, mixed with like some other shit, but...
What is that one Gundam series? Was it like a Requesta and G?
Yeah. It definitely gives some vibes of that, but nothing in it looks like distinct enough to be like, yeah, I know what this is from.
I want to buy that toy.
Yeah, the main guy looks like a fucking side character. The main robot, I can't remember the names. And they use like these fucking Sonic the Hedgehog rings that they put on their arms. It's not cool. When I think of giant robots, right, transforming, I think of the coolest part of the show. But this is just, it's boring. It's
more like they're putting on suits, really. It's more like they're tokusatsu heroes. mechanics?
Yeah, sorta, cause they sort of like have their arms and legs enveloped in like this light of some sort when they're transformed, when it's like closing in on their face.
And one of the mechanics is that, if you die in a mech, you die in real life, which...
I would say that actually looking at it, this is a weird thing that I just noticed while looking. The faces remind me a bit more of the LFOs from Eureka 7. Because just like the Nirvash and with the end, you can see that they have eyes, and like those are like the most distinct things on the face. They're also very sharp. They were throwing around a lot of terms that honestly gotten it had gotten completely out of hand by the time the episode was over. The animation for the 3D CG mechs, they looked okay. That looked fine. It wasn't particularly great, but in my head, maybe it's the fact that I've gotten used to seeing 3D CG mechs as opposed to 2D ones at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we can't dog this 3D CG. There's something. There's something this season which...
Keep it in the chamber. But, yeah, the animation for it was alright. The art style was very light, very vibrant. It almost didn't look super great when, as opposed to the backgrounds, which seemed somebody put a lot of work into those backgrounds, but then you see these very light characters put in front of it. It was kind of jarring. And as far as the music, it was almost totally ignorable.
It's forgettable. It had an opening by Lisa, apparently, but it was forgettable.
It's weird. Now anytime I hear anything from Lisa, I immediately think like, oh man, everybody's going to be all over this because she's like the top selling singer in Japan, period, I think. Like, I think she's like the top selling one all around. So, what do you guys say about Back Arrow? What are we giving it? What are you guys giving it?
As a show, as a first impression, I'm gonna say I'm just not impressed at all. It has no hook, lackluster character designs, mecha designs they're there. For me, this is not something I would want to waste my life watching. This is not something I'm gonna be looking forward to with bated breath. It's not even something that I would watch in the background. I have better things to do. So for me, that's just gonna be a fucking sink, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm reserving the sinks this year for like truly abominable trash. So I'm just gonna say this is a flow. Like, if I hear later down the line that it gets better, then I will watch it, and that's why I'm giving it a flow. But for now, not interested. No hook, and I don't like the design, so why would I keep watching?
I will drop this right in between the both of you guys and say it's drowning. It's not terrible. I don't feel like this is a bad anime. Much like Hawkeiser said at the beginning, it's kind of one of those things that if it was on and you were sitting at home and you just really liked anime, you would probably watch it and be like, oh, that was alright, that was a thing, I watched it. But it's never something that I would seek out personally. Maybe in the next couple episodes it'll turn out to be like the best thing of the season. I doubt it. There's a lot of other things that are running this season that have me very excited, but yeah, it's definitely not the top.
This is definitely an anime select sass anime that you would just go, oh, what's Back Arrow? And then you would hear like generic voice acting from like an untrained Steve Blum.
Well, nah, yeah, you can't say that because the untrained Steve Blum was like early Steve Blum. It was like Cowboy Bebop, GTO.
No. Earlier than that. When he was doing like background voices and like in OVAs in the early 90s. But, enough, let's just call this video here.
Well, that's it. See you guys in the next one.